Good morning, children. Today we are going to start with the new chapter of Class 10 History, and that is the third chapter, Nationalism in India. Before we start with the topic explaining in detail, we will just go through the content of this chapter. First, we are going to see the introduction towards nationalism in India. How nationalism, the feeling of nationalism, was introduced in India, was developed in India. The second topic is what were the effects of the First World War in India, though India did not participate in the First World War directly. Then we have to see why did Gandhiji support the Khilafat movement. Not only that, but we will also see why Gandhiji launched the non-cooperation movement. What was the reason behind launching the non-cooperation movement? We have to see whether it was a successful event or not. Then the third topic is differing strands within the movement. That is, the different perspectives of the people living in the town as well as in the countryside, their perspective towards this movement. How did they develop this movement in the town and also in the countryside or the rural areas? Then, why there was a need for Gandhiji to launch a civil disobedience movement? We have to see whether it was a successful movement, what happened during the civil disobedience movement. Then, last but not the least, we will be seeing how this feeling of nationalism, how these movements, they developed a sense of collectiveness, a sense of collective belongings among the people of India. Children, in this first part of our chapter, Nationalism in India, we will see how this feeling developed among the people of India, and then what were the effects of the First World War in India. This chapter will tell us how nationalism evolved in India. Today, we have all got freedom from the foreign rule, from the imperialistic rule, or in other words, we can say we are free from the British rule. But how did we get this freedom from the British rule? That is what we have to learn about, the incidences, how it led to the independence of the country against the British rule. Now, children, in order to know how the nationalism developed, first of all, we should know the idea of a nation state. How did the idea of a nation state develop? What is meant by a nation state? There was a time when no nation state existed at all. If we see India today, we can see a political unity with India's political boundaries, and that is how people in India are called as Indians. That is an idea of a nation state. And it was a period when there was no modern state existing. That was a period when we had kings and their kingdoms, and they never had a fixed territory, as they kept on extending and losing their territories. As a result of which, people used to get divided themselves into different regions. And this resulted with no collective boundness with no collective common identity. For example, if you see the map, the regions are governed first by the Mauryan Empire. Then it is conquered by the Gupta Empire. And then, of course, by the Mughal Empire and so on. So, what used to happen is the people had to obey first to the Mauryan Empire and then to the Gupta Empire as they were subjected to them. Therefore, in those days, people had a fluctuating identity. Their notion towards the nation was not fixed. But with the passing time, the democratic ideas started making place in many places, resulting in the formation of a nation, or we can say the building of a nation state, as we see today our nation as India. But here it is very important to understand, children, that a nation cannot be built only by boundaries. The people of those nations need to develop a feeling of collective belongingness, that this is my country, that this is our country. How did this feeling develop among the people? That is what we are going to see further. As the idea of nationalism started, it created a sense of collective identity and belongingness among the people. Now, how can this sense become stronger and stronger? That was the question. New symbols started introducing, like flag. Why it was needed? Children, you may live in any part of the world, whether in America or in Africa, anywhere. But as soon as you see an Indian flag, you feel proud about yourself. Being an Indian, you associate yourself with that flag. Similarly, as soon as you hear new slogans or songs related to Bharat Mata, you feel proud about it. So, in this way, new symbols, icons, new songs and ideas started introducing, or we can say started developing by the people. Children, whenever you hear the national anthem, automatically you stand still. You get goosebumps. You give respect to it, because that is the identity of an Indian. Here the question now is, how this consciousness can emerge in India? How this consciousness, or we can say the idea, can emerge in India? Now that is what the entire chapter is going to tell us. Children, India was a colony under the British, Portuguese or the French rule. Similarly, Vietnam, Africa and so on also were the colonies under these rulers. There was one thing common in all the colonies, and that was the anti-colonial movement. Everywhere people were under the imperialism or under the colonial rule. So they started revolting against their colonies. You have studied in class 8 how the revolt started in India in the year 1857 under Rani Lakshmi Bai and many other people. From there till the time we got independence in 1947. Every person had a feeling of discontent. Then, when this discontent started getting united, it led to the revolutions and finally independence in our country. So, a common point among all the colonies was an anti-colonial movement. That is, whether it was in Vietnam, Africa, or India, everyone started developing a sense of being oppressed. Maybe a zamindar or a peasant. Everyone had a feeling of being oppressed, and this provided a shared bond among everyone. Every individual wanted to be freed from the British rule. But the notion of the freedom for each class and each groups, they differed or varied. Like, for example, peasant had a different reason against the British rule. They worked day and night as a forced labor, whereas zamindars had different sense. That is, they felt that they had to pay more taxes, n number of taxes. So, in this way, the notion towards freedom differed from class to class. Therefore, what we can see here is the notion towards the freedom can differ from person to person or from class to class. But the ultimate objective is to get freed from the British rule. Now, these reasons made the people united. Like when Mahatma Gandhi came to India, he saw people were scattered and tried to bring them under one roof. That is, tried to make them united and showed them that the main cause for the problems that the people are facing is the British rule. And he also made them understand that in order to force the British to leave India, it is necessary to fight unitedly. He started various movements about which we will be seeing or studying gradually as we proceed further. In the years after 1919, we can see the national movement spreading to new areas, incorporating new social groups, and also developing new modes of struggle. How do we understand these developments? Children, first of all, the World War I created a new economic and political situations. It led to a huge increase in the defense expenditure, which was financed by the war loans, and increasing taxes like raise in the custom duties and income tax was also introduced. Through the years of the war, prices increased, doubling between 1913 and 1918, which led to an extreme hardship for the common people. Villages were called upon to supply the soldiers, and the forced recruitment in the rural areas caused a widespread anger. Children, forced recruitment means it is a process by which the colonial state forced people to join the army. Then in 1918-19 and 1920-21, crops also failed in many parts of India, which resulted in acute shortage of food. This was further accompanied by an influenza epidemic. Exactly like, children, how today we are facing with the corona epidemic. According to the census of 1921, Around 12 to 13 million people died as a result of famines and the epidemic. People hoped their hardships would end after the war was over, but that did not happen. At this stage, a new leader appeared and suggested a new mode of struggle, and he was none other than Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Children, going to cover the idea of Satyagraha, that is the philosophy, the meaning of Satyagraha we are going to study, and also we are going to see how Gandhiji led these Satyagrahas in the Champaran village of Bihar, then in Kheda village of Gujarat, and also in Ahmedabad of Gujarat with the mill workers. Children, in the first part of the chapter, we had seen how the effects of the First World War led to the development of the feeling of nationalism in India. At the end, we had also seen that now there was a need of a new leader who would suggest a new mode of struggle. And the new leader was none other than Mahatma Gandhi. When he returned to India in January 1915, he came with a mode of struggle, or we can say a new philosophical idea, and that was Satyagraha. Now, from where did he return to India? It was from South Africa, where he was practicing law. He had first experimented with Satyagraha in South Africa against the racial discrimination, as he himself had experienced it when he was traveling in the first class compartment of the train in spite of having a first class ticket. He was thrown out of the train as he was not a white man. Therefore, according to the white man, he doesn't deserve to travel in the first class compartment of a train, which hurt him a lot as he was humiliated on the basis of the racial regime. And from there, he started with a satyagraha in South Africa against the racial regime or the racial discrimination. Children, what is Satyagraha? Satyagraha is made up of two words, that is Satya and Agraha. Satya means truth and Agraha means force or to be firm. So children, the basic meaning of Satyagraha is to be firm with the truth. Here, according to Gandhiji, the idea of Satyagraha emphasized on the power of truth and the need to search for truth. That is, whatever you do in your life, children, you should never leave the path of truth. The philosophy of Satyagraha, according to Gandhiji, is if the cause is true, that is, if you stand for truth and the struggle is against injustice, then the physical force is not required to fight against the oppressor. Oppressor should be persuaded. That is, you should be able to make an appeal to the conscience of an oppressor to see the truth instead of forcing him to accept the truth through violence. So, according to Gandhiji, Dharma of non-violence could unite all the Indians. Gandhiji started his experiment of Satyagraha in India first with Champaran Satyagraha in Bihar in the year 1916, then the Kheda Satyagraha in 1917, and then the Ahmedabad mill worker strike in 1918. Children, before we proceed with the next part of the chapter, it is necessary, children, to know the background of these satyagrahas. Whatever incidences we are discussing about these satyagrahas is not given in detail in your textbook. But children, I think that you should know about these incidences which led to the feeling of nationalism or a revolt against the British rule in the different regions of our country. As a citizen of India, we should know our past history. How people struggled in various fronts to give independence to us from the imperialistic rule of the British. Champaran is located in Bihar. This is Champaran. It is very important to remember these places, whichever we will be discussing in our chapter. For the exams, it will come as map locations. Now, this satyagraha was said to be the first civil disobedience movement, that is, the refusal to obey with the certain laws considered to be unjust, in a peaceful form of political protest. What was the issue in Champaran that led to satyagraha? The peasants of the Champaran as well as the other areas of North Bihar were forced to grow indigo under the Teen Katya system. What is this Teen Katya system? Under this system, the peasant was bound to plant 3 out of 20 parts of his land with indigo for his landlord. But the price paid was very less. From the year 1910 onwards, German synthetic dyes forced indigo out of the market. Planters had agreed to the peasants to relieve them from the lease contracts, but demanded heavy compensation, which they were not ready to pay. High revenue was demanded even during the time of famine. During this period, a local peasant leader, Rajkumar Shukla, invited Gandhiji to visit Champaran. But on his arrival to Champaran, the district magistrate asked Gandhiji to leave the place. But on his arrival to Champaran, the district magistrate asked Gandhiji to leave the place, as he knew very well about Gandhiji's satyagraha in South Africa. But Gandhiji refused to leave the place, as he was not using any violent measures, and told them to arrest him if they wanted to. Then Gandhiji started investigating the situation of the planters as well as the peasants. Simultaneously, the British government appointed a commission to inquire to know the situation of the planters. The government also offered a seat to Gandhiji in this commission. When the result of the commission came out, it told to abolish the Teen Katya system and also told that the peasants should be given 25% of compensation. Children, do you know the psychological impact of this satyagraha was outstanding? Children, Gandhiji became God to the peasants because they saw someone who came to their place, who was against the district magistrate. He could abolish the Teen Katya system, and the news of Champaran satyagraha started spreading like a fire. The news of the Champaran satyagraha reached Kheda district of Gujarat, and the satyagraha also started in Kheda. Now, where is Kheda? If you see, children, here Kheda is in Gujarat. In 1917, the crops failed in the Kheda district of Gujarat due to the droughts. Now, as per the revenue code, if the crop yields less than 25%, then there is remission of the revenue or the waive off of the revenue has to be done. But the British authorities refused to give any such kind of remission, as it was already the period of World War I and the British needed lot of resources. Children, movie Lagan of Amir Khan gives a small glimpse of how revenues were collected by the British authorities. At that time, under the guidance of Gandhiji, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel led the protest of the farmers against the collection of the taxes in the wake of famine, and the protest was widespread. People showed a remarkable courage, no matter whether their personal properties were confiscated or they were arrested. British authorities became helpless and issued a secret directives, according to which revenue should be recovered from those who can pay. Now, why a secret directive? Because the public declaration would have meant a blow to the government prestige. That is, people will definitely come to know that the British have lost. Next is the Ahmedabad mill workers strike. Now, where is Ahmedabad located? Again in Gujarat. In 1918, Saurashtra region of Gujarat faced plague. During this period, the mill workers were getting a plague bonus, that is, some extra money. But with an end of plague, the mill owners of Ahmedabad decided to end this bonus. The workers of the mill protested on the ground that natural plague, that is a disease, is definitely over. But the First World War, the worldly plague, that is inflation, is still existing. This created a tension between the mill workers and the mill owners. Therefore, during this crisis, Gandhiji was invited by the collector of Ahmedabad to deal with the situation. Gandhiji studied the situation and told them that the workers should be given 35% of bonus, as the condition was worse due to the inflation, but was not agreed by the owners. So the workers went on strike. After some time, the workers began to show a sign of tiredness, and therefore the movement showed less momentum. Now Gandhiji himself decided to go on a fast. And finally, the 35% of bonus was given to the mill workers. In this way, all the three satyagrahas were successful. What is the significance of these satyagrahas? It showed that in all these movements, Gandhiji was able to involve the masses, including the farmers, artisans, and even the so-called low caste. This was a change from the previous movements that were carried away by the other leaders before Gandhiji, where the participation was limited to the upper and the middle class. His popularity arose. Now he understood that the method of satyagraha and the civil disobedience could work even in India like how it worked in South Africa. Gandhiji's point of view on satyagraha was that it was said to be a passive resistance, that is, the weapon of the weak. but the power which is subject of the article can be used only by the strong. This power is not passive resistance. Indeed, it calls for intense activity. The movement of South Africa was not passive but active. Satyagraha is not physical force. A satyagrahi does not inflict pain or seek his destruction. In the use of satyagraha, there is no ill will whatsoever. He said, Satyagraha is pure soul. Truth is the very substance of the soul. That is why this force is called Satyagraha. The soul is informed with knowledge. In it burns the flame of love. Non-violence is the supreme dharma. It is certain that India cannot rival or fight Britain or Europe in force of arms. The British worship the war god, and they can all of them become as they are becoming, that is, the bearers of arms. The hundreds of millions in India can never carry arms. They have made the religion of non-violence as their own. Next part of our chapter, we will try to understand about the Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh massacre, the Khilafat movement, and also about the non-cooperation movement. Till then, take care, be safe, be at home.